Hello everyone and welcome to another video on Gran Turismo Sport. Today we are doing Daily Race C, a Super GT Group 2 race at Suzuka, which is a great combination. You can see here I am starting in last place, just behind P20. It's always fun with these new daily races to start at the back of the grid and see how we can do, so that is what we're doing here. However, the game has chucked me halfway round the lap. So, you know, I was looking forward to trying to follow P20 through the pack, and instead I am starting very far behind. And to make matters worse, just as we're exiting the hairpin, it throws me in. So not only do I have to try and deal with the lack of traction on cold tyres, but I am significantly far behind before the race has even started. I did do a number of races after this, and it was happening every single race, and still is, to whoever starts in 20th place. So if you're planning on doing this Daily Race C this week, do not start in 20th place. Try and set a lap time. You can see here I'm finally beginning the race a minute in, and I am 49 seconds behind. So skipping through to the end then, and I finished in a lowly 19th place. You can check out Tidney's daily race guide and see myself driving around alone in the top right hand corner on the track map if you wish to do so. So anyway, right, on to a preparation. I've decided to set a qualifying time. It's a lobby with quite a few fast drivers in here, so should be a good, clean, competitive race. Let's see what happens. So going into turn one, being very cautious on the brakes, down into second gear and trying to keep it very smooth as we come out of the corner, and then through the S's, trying to get used to following in the dirty air. So these cars, Group 2 cars, are quite affected by the dirty air, and it's much nicer driving around in clean air because you get so much more grip through the corners. So something I'm just needing to get used to a little bit here, as I did do a race before this, but I had a lower SR, so I was in the sin bin, the naughty race, which I won, but obviously I was driving out in front all by myself. So right, skipping on to lap 2 then. I've fallen back a little bit, but you can see there's some contact up ahead, and we just make it past the orange car of Tragic Onion. So we're up into 4th place now, still 2nd and 3rd in our sights, but P1 is starting to pull a bit of a gap between himself and car number 2 of Maud Fustang. You have to be very focused throughout this race. It's very easy to flip one wheel on the grass and just send the whole thing spinning around. So you've got to be cautious, especially on the throttle as well on that green curb. If you take a bit too much, sometimes you can be spun around. Again, if you go wide in through Spoon, you can end up being spun as well. So as we come up to the hairpin then, P2 has had a poor exit from the last corner, and they're side by side going around the hairpin. We try and get on the throttle as early as we can. It's not quite good enough, so Vladimir Sobolov has gone through up into 2nd place, and we are now following close behind Maud Fustang as we go through Spoon. So you want to drift out really wide, and make sure you don't get your right wheels onto the green Astro, because that puts you at risk of being spun round. Onto the back straight then. It's a double slipstream here, so I should have a bit of a chance looking into the hairpin if they end up battling and going side by side. As we close up right onto the back, we're going to brake early. We don't want to go in too deep. We are pitting this lap as well to try and get a bit of an undercut. So as we come to the pit lane, and we can see Vladimir Sobolov dives into the pits, as do I, but Maud Fustang has stayed out. So he's doing an extra lap on the soft tyre. Everyone's starting on these soft tyres in the front 5, I believe, as we come out just behind P3 now of Tragic Onion, who is also yet to stop, has gone a lap longer. So we're going to be on much fresher rubber, and we're going to be ending up right on his tail within a matter of a few corners. The fresh tyres are usually about a second quicker than warm ones, as well as being the softs about a second quicker than the mediums as well. So as we go through the long left-hander up the hill, Vladimir gets side by side with Traffic Onion. This is not somewhere you want to be side by side, as he clips the wheel on the grass and we slot through somehow without making any contact. So we're up to 4th position now, and we need to make sure that our pace is good enough so that we can get the undercut on Maud Fustang. This is the reason we've pitted a lap earlier, is to try and get that undercut on the fresher rubber, but being out behind traffic is not going to help. However, we were also behind Vladimir, so we have closed up a net distance there, so hopefully it's going to be just enough to leapfrog Maud Fustang when he makes his stop. As coming out Spoon here, we try and get a bit of a switch back, and on the fresher tyres we get better traction, a better exit, and we're side by side going down the back straight. As we look down towards the radar, we can see we now take that position and push on towards P2. So going through the final chicane, we just need to make sure we maximise the speed we take through it, clipping that first, taking as much of that second curb as we can, as much as track limits allow us to do so, as Maud Fustang does indeed pit and takes the soft tyres on. And he's come out ahead, but we're just going to take that position, sweeping down into turn 1. So that is a great result for us, and hopefully we can keep him behind until the end of the race. So also worth pointing out that P1 has also pitted, but he has gone onto the medium tyres, so he doesn't need to make another stop, and he's already 8 seconds ahead now that he's had a chance to get away with the battling behind. So the chances of finishing in first place are very slim, but we should hopefully be able to hold on to a second place, which in this field of drivers and starting 5th is not a bad result at all. But there's still 4.5 laps to go, and we need to make sure we don't make any mistakes, as it is very easy to do so at this track. This lap is going to be crucial in order to keep Maud Fustang behind, because where he's just come out of the pits, his tyres are going to be the best they've ever been. So I really need to hang on for this lap to make sure that I stay ahead until his tyres start to achieve just a little bit of wear that will make it harder for him to follow in the dirty air. So we've obviously got the benefit of no car in front, so we can take the lines we want, and we're not affected by any dirty air. He is behind us in that dirty air, but on the fresher tyres. So he's going to have an advantage until his tyres start to fade just a little bit. As we go through 130R, he pulls up to the inside. We're going to keep it in the middle of the track, braking, shifting down to first for a better turning, but we keep him behind. So that was a very key part of the race for us, keeping him behind there. So hopefully now from this point he will start to drift back a little bit, because through the S's he's going to find it harder now his tyres have done an extra lap to follow as closely behind. Jumping forwards onto lap 8 now then, and you can see the distance behind is 1.2 seconds, so we have managed to build a bit of a gap, as Maud Fustang has suffered a little bit in the dirty air, and he decides to pit on lap 8. So we obviously both need to go onto the medium tyres. I'm going to do it on lap 9, but he's decided to pit a lap early and see if he can gain some kind of undercut on fresher mediums. So right, on to lap 9, we head into the pits, take our medium tyres, and where are we going to come out in the race? We come out back in second place, so it hasn't worked out for Maud Fustang. We've maintained that second place. He is within a second behind though, so he has managed to gain a small chunk of time through that pit stop phase. However, he is still behind, and especially being on medium tyres, we should be able to keep him at bay. It's very unlikely he'll have the grip in the high speed and medium corners to follow closely enough to challenge our P2. So as we take the final chicane then on the last lap, not going too crazy on those track limits, we don't want to get a penalty at this stage, and across the line to take P2. So a good result from where we started, especially in a group of quick drivers, and P1 there finishing with a very fast total race time of 18 minutes and 9 seconds. So I've done this race a number of times now this week, and that's definitely the fastest race finishing time that I've seen so far. So if anyone has seen a faster time, let me know, but yeah, very quick time there. So a good combination, and I will be taking part in this race a few more times throughout the week, so feel free to join me. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and a subscribe, and I will see you again soon.